Good evening, Riverside Secondary. Welcome to your Riverside Spoken Word Festival. I'm Sonia Littlejohn. I am a poet. That's why they let me come here. I'm really excited about this. I've been here a few times, and your poets are amazing. There are a couple things I just want to let the students know who are in the audience. Please be respectful. This is very hard work, even the part that I'm doing right now, but this is nothing compared to what they're going to do. So once you're here, you're here. Please turn off your mobile phones, no heckling, and don't be running in and out. When C block ends, then you can stack a chair if you're sitting on it, and then the next people that, or maybe that was for D block. I might be messing that up. I'll get back to you on that. But the poets will be doing their own original poetry. You have the fortunate non-rule of a time limit, so there's no time limits in this particular event. One thing that is really important in supporting a poet is snapping. Can everybody practice this snapping? It also brings some nice energy into the room. So you can do that if you're really feeling a line. You can also make sounds like, if something's deep and meaningful. So I'll give you a deep and meaningful line. A deep and meaningful line. If you're not so sure about what I said, maybe you're like, you can go, ooh. Or maybe it's also a sick burn. You can do that too. Ooh. Okay, so here, practice. Sick burn or questionable line. All right, good. I think you guys are ready. We don't need to do anything else, do we? Is there anything else? Actually, there is one other thing. We have judges in the audience. Those judges, you can hold up your hands there to make yourselves known. Their judges are there to keep our poets accountable to the audience. So we're trying to entertain you. We don't want to bore you. So the judges will give a score after each poet to let you know what they thought about the poem. This is by no means a judgment on the poet's entire person. It is simply a judgment on the delivery and craft of this particular piece at this particular time today. All right? Don't take it too personally because it's about the points. I mean, it's not about the points. It's about the poetry and the people. Now that I have talked a lot, I would like to give you a sacrifice piece so the judges can calibrate. I'm going to lift this off carefully because, maybe I'm not. Okay. Good idea, Lucia. That's my partner in crime, Lucia Mish, over there, your celebrity judge. Can we get the other judges to say who they are? Okay, I can say the rest. Mr. Hyde, can you wave your hand? Bonnie, can you wave your hand? Mr. Amelich and Lucia Mish. All right, now I'll become a poet and not a nervous host, so just give me a moment. My hand is swollen. Not quite the fleshy part of the palm, but the dip in the middle where my grip holds tightest around a gardening claw. I've been digging a lot lately, prying away bark, hacking rotted wood flesh. The old tree used to fascinate me. It was the crow's roost. Sometimes black with birds, it was so alive with wings, pulsing tango of wind and feather. The silence came after my father shot one and hung it in a low branch. He called it a warning, hated the noise they made at sunrise. I remember how sickened I was to look out the east window of my parents' kitchen at the trailer and the hanging tree, to what is now the full sliding glass window of my bedroom shining golden in the western sun. Seeing where the tree used to stand, where the stump was standing until a few days ago, where my excavation of memory and wood has recently begun. After that, the bird hung for weeks, dried up and shriveled. I thought often of its fragile skeleton, of bodies hanging from ropes. There has been a red anthill wrapped around the stump since summers ago, but I've spread that out now. I was glad they weren't home to bite me for the eviction. Digging gives me strength. Even though the tree wants to come apart in my fingers, they say that having your hands in fresh soil keeps away depression. I don't know what they say about dead trees. I have to hope the rest of the crows found a new roost and moved on. I worry that I am changing things that should have remained, the way people are always coming in and changing things with their feet, their hands, their hearts, their words, their inventions, their lies, their computers, their bodies, their mouths, their talking, their never knowing when to stop. I'm too tired to put out a fresh welcome mat. But it gets so lonely here some days, and there's so much to be sad about in this world, and I worry that there will soon be no place else to go but this. And we will no longer have our solitude replaced by serenity and solace. That's what the tree stump gives me. Something to think about, a hole to discover and fill. Thank you, Sonia Littlejohn, for your poem. And judges, can we please have your scores in 3, 2, 1. Up with your scores. We have a 5, a 3.5, a 4, a 5, and a 4. Thank you, judges. Keep that up. If you agree with the score, make as much noise as you want. If you disagree, you can get it right. Yay. Judges, get it right. Whatever you want to say. But yeah, this is how it works. So without further ado, I will welcome your first team to the stage. Please give a warm welcome to Jivan, Tahir, and Nick.
Wait, you go in the middle? You go in the middle. Oh, I'm going in the middle. Okay, here, you're on this side. Yeah.
Do you want some of this mic too, or no? There?
Right there. Yeah.
What if I don't yell loud enough and it's like people can't hear me?
Just yell. Sorry.
This is actually scary.
You guys ready?
Sure.
Here we go. You ready?
Donald Trump thinks that if you are not white, you want to start a fight. His government was never built on a strong foundation, so why was his name even in the nomination?
He's going to create the rugged terrain to sustain the presidential spot, but he's giving us all a migraine which will remain until he's out of the office. Until then, he'll be counting his losses.
His slogan says, "Make America great again," but all he's ever done was make America hate again. 9/11, a day we're never forgetting, but 11/9, that's the day we all started regretting.
He forces everyone to conform to his reality unless you stand up, like Washington, Oregon, or Hawaii. His administration is doomed to fail, and by the end, he's probably going to jail. Trump had the presidency underestimated, but now he's gonna get decimated. This man needs to goddamn admit, instead of feeding us all a pile of shit. 2020 brings the long-awaited, highly celebrated Kanye West, the man who impressed the whole Northwest. November 8th, remember the date. That's when America had a new fate. Obama has a nice viewpoint to watch the new president disappoint.
Let's put it like this. Donald Trump, the man who won the democracy, but really all he does is spread his hypocrisy. He's trying to be the United States safety curtain, but all he's going to do is cause a burden.
Trump preached the greatness of his platform, but really, all he tries to is misinform. The man doesn't believe in his nation's constitution, so naturally, let's follow him as he spreads his persecution.
Watching the clocks, waiting for the next presidential election. The thought of Kanye as president gives me an erection. Might as well prepare the confetti. Vote Kanye 2020.
All right, that was Jivan, Tahir, and Nick. Judges, I'll give you a couple seconds to figure out what you thought of that. Audience, you can tell them what you thought of that based on their scores. 3, 2, 1, up with your scores. We have a 4, a 3.5, a 4, a 4, and a 4. Good job, poets. Give it up for the poets, not the score. And keep that going for Will Case coming to the stage.
We've often heard that sticks and stones break bones and puncture flesh, but words go so much deeper, like water crossing mesh. For bumps and bruises are little things from which we can move on, but words will rip and tear you down until your spirit's nearly gone. I see you almost daily harassing people after every block. Why can't you see that you're destroying them, you complete and utter? No. You know what? I won't stoop to calling petty names. For unlike you, I don't feel pride in putting other kids to shame. You shoot words out from your mouth like bullets out a gun, but bullets cause such nasty scars, causing other kids to shun. Words can be a heated knife, driving through someone like butter, the effects of which harsh words can cause are enough to make you shudder. You take our deepest insecurities, our pains and all our flaws, and you rip at us to make us cry with your painful verbal claws. Although I'm not a victim anymore, I see it every day. The words that cause the nicest kids to try to cut and drink their pain away. So go ahead and throw your stones, for from them we can prevail. But don't you dare throw those hateful words that pelt down on us like hail. I truly am not proud of this, but to you I must admit, I force myself to change so that in society I may fit.
Thank you, Will. Keep your hands going. Judges, give you a few minutes. Well, not minutes, seconds. I know it seemed like a long time, but now it's time. 3, 2, 1. We have a 4, a 4, a 4, a 3.5, and a 4. Thank you, judges. Keep your hands going. We've got JC coming to the stage.
We played this game at the grocery store where we'd point to something and say the first pun that jumped into our heads. I'd start off by pointing to the bananas and say, I find you appealing. Then you would say, you make my heart skip a beat as you place the beets into the grocery cart. And I would pick up the little mushrooms and say, I have so much room in my heart for you. As you grab some butter and say, you're my butter half. And so on, back and forth we went. People would glance in our direction as we giggle and move on to the next. It was always our entertainment as we added them to our conversation. As we walked down the aisle, we would turn our heads back and forth until one of us could think of something clever enough, and you would always think of one first. The last day we spent together, we went to Save On Foods. You told me you moved on, that you were leaving, but you said, you will always have a piece of my heart, and we both turned to stare at the pizza in the silence, and as the silence grew stronger, I said, it's okay. And I took your hand and held it for a while, held it for the last time. I could have looked to the packaged meat to my right and said, don't go bake in my heart, or I could have looked to my left and said, but I still love you from my head to my toes as I placed my hand over the red juicy tomatoes, then picked up the shells and said, but really, I don't want to talk about it. But instead I said, it's okay, when really, I meant it's not okay, when really, I didn't want you to leave me, when really I wanted you to go your way and for me to follow, when really I wanted to be the person who would be there for you. I wanted to tell you that I will love you till the day I die, that I can't imagine a life without you, that I can't let it go. I can't let go of the way our hands fit perfectly like a puzzle and how your smile always made me smile even on the worst of days. I can't let you go. And I didn't want to believe you, didn't want to believe that you would leave because you were the only thing I need, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry I never tried hard enough. I'm sorry I let you slip through my fingers without even realizing. I'm sorry that we had to say goodbye. You were the sail to my sinking boat, and without you, I would hit rock bottom and I wouldn't be able to float. You were the wind beneath my wings, but now I guess that wind has stopped and I can no longer fly. And you will no longer keep me high up in the sky. And who will look at me with crazy eyes scrambling to find a pun? And who will be delighted to realize he had won? But I didn't say all that. I said, it's okay. I'll just let you be. and I placed your favorite chocolate bar into the cart and said, maybe someday an arrow will point you back to me.
All right, give it up for JC. Judges, be swift, be strong, be sure in your marks. 3, 2, 1. 4.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5, and 4. Thank you. Applaud the poet, not the score. And keep it going for Camille and Shiloh.
Loneliness is what I always want to explore. A feeling of emptiness and depression that each one of us has experienced.
Being alone. Sometimes you are just accompanied with yourself.
Being lonely when you feel blocked out from your own heart. What are some moments that make you feel alone? I go to the buffet by myself, return with dessert to find that my plate has been taken away by the waiters.
I stay in a foreign city unaccompanied, has no idea whose name to put down when I'm failing an emergency contact.
I called home late in the middle of night, that only wish to release my missing from the other side of the earth.
I travel on my own with all beautiful sightseeing, but nobody else can take a photograph for me.
Or perhaps some friends who used to make jokes with me suddenly says hi in an unfamiliar way.
Is that lonely? Everyone gibbers around without a true listener.
Is that lonely? Running to a group of classmates when you are only by yourself.
Is that lonely? Back from a party in midnight, wandering around late in the middle of nowhere.
Is that lonely? Hundreds of lamps lighten each house, but none of the houses are waiting for me.
Can
I be alone? I look into the mob who try to break the silence with a gunshot, but all of the shots hits the echo of the hollow.
I try to communicate in multi-language, but soon I realize that the ultimate of language is just a greater loneliness.
I try to play a role in a harmonious society, but what is the reason that I still feel empty?
For a long period of time, I feel myself sinking into a deep, dark loneliness that is forcing me to find a way out of it. And then I start to tell myself, I'm lonely, and I have to break this loneliness.
My everyday life associated with crowd that can't even bear the life without sound. I lie on my bed in several late nights, and all that I'm thinking is who to take bus with. The way seems too long from school to the bus stop.
Real loneliness is not when you are in an empty quiet room, but walking in a crowded street without fulfill your emptiness zone.
However, there's nothing bad about being alone, only loneliness. It's your fear towards it that make it awful. I begin to tell myself, if loneliness is not because of bashfulness, is it because of uniqueness?
So I say that aloneness is a blessing. The sun is shining by itself, the moon is rotating on its orbit. Yes, the stars are numerous. They are lonely in a night sky, full of separate dots of light.
Suddenly, I figure out the definition of loneliness.
So I walked silently to the edge of the city. The hostel and bustle have nothing to do with me, hands in my pockets without knowing what to do next.
Life is destined to be a journey of your own, no matter what you view or who encounters. Togetherness is momentary, whereas farewell is the norm. Maybe enjoy the scenery alone is also a pleasure. For my aloneness,
For my instance, and
for us to experience.
Thank you, Camille and Shiloh. Judges, please raise your scores in 3, 2, 1. All right, good. We've got a 4.4. Audience, make some noise. We've got a 4, a 4, a 4.5, a 4, and another 4. Thank you. All right, next to the stage we have Anton.
In this life, there has been two of me, a split in identity, a division of my thoughts. A part of me never left the Philippines. He plays on the beaches and dances on the sands. He does not remember that we drowned in the oceans, so allured by its push and pull, its ebb and flow, that we did not recall the vicious tug beneath the glittering blue. He sits with his titas and his titos, his nanas and his lolos, and he loves them simply, unconditionally. Mahal kita is I love you, and I love him, but I do not know him. I cannot recognize him, and I cannot understand him. I cannot hate him because I am him, but if I ever had the chance, I just wish I could sit down with him and talk to him. Open his eyes to the world around him, because there has always been more to him than what is expected of him. He's just a boy, he's just 10 years old, and yet I am jealous of him. I miss him. I miss what I used to be, and I miss what I left behind in the Philippines, because I left so much. Because who I am there and who I am here are two very different people. Because there I can love my family without exception and accept my expectations without consternation and live my life undeniably in prosperity. But there I cannot breathe. There is a blindfold over my eyes and fingers in my ears, and my aunts and uncles laugh out bakla, which means fag. There is a place where I never would have been me, a place where I would have stayed as him, blissfully ignorant but not. And that's a strange thing to realize, the blissful ignorance of younger selves past. You would fault them and criticize them, but you would also miss them and envy them. And above all, you would wonder at how he stayed so unaware but so happy, how he could have honestly thought life would be satisfactory beneath the shadow cast by his family. He never left the Philippines, but sometimes I wonder what life would be like if I had stayed with him. But not all of the time, for a part of me loves Canada and would never leave. There's an intricate wonder in the realization that the word mother can mean more than parent, more than superior, more than a living standard of what to hold myself up to. It can also mean friend. When my nanay imparts upon me her wisdom in the dead of night, or holds banter with me in the light of day, I weep, because he, the little boy who never left the Philippines, will never know this. He will only know clinical pats on the shoulder, an embrace thrice a week, and this strange and inexplicable sense of longing whenever she left through the front door. That is the difference between us, for we may love our mother, but I love her because she is my friend, because she is beautiful, because she is funny and intelligent and helpful, and he has only ever loved her because she is his mother. And here, the people are so carefree. They don't obsess like he did. It's refreshing, and above all, relieving. Here, friends untie the blindfold and uncork the ears, and I can see and hear clearer than he ever could. Here, I understand my family can be flawed, and that the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, but that is not how he feels. And therein lies the problem. He and I are both here, and as wrong as I believe him to be, he can easily believe the same for me. It's not easy. He and I are different. We love our family, but I can never love someone for something that was never ours to decide. I never chose them, and they never chose me. However, he can never deny the promise written in our blood, the bond that has to be nurtured by family. We live our lives parallel of one another, him eclipsed by the expectations of his family, and me carefree by comparison. But also, I am so much more lost and afraid and unsure, and he will never know such weaknesses. But that is why we must find the balance, and why we must uphold both of our values, for we complete one another, and there can never be one without the other.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Anton. Judges, can you please put your scores up in 3, 2, 1. All right, we've got a 4.5, a 4.5, a 5, a 5. Wait a second. 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5, and 4.5. Thank you. Next to the stage, we have Ciara.
Hi, guys. I'd like to take this time to ask you all to please lower your expectations. I'm not joking. The chirps and squawks and grunts filled my ears, from monkeys and parrots, penguins and reindeers, as vibrant sights, sounds, and smells swirled around, and the crunch of roasted peanuts filled my mouth. As I wove through the strollers and balloons and flip-flops, a bark and a splash to my right made me stop. The seals were swishing and swashing around in the sun as the trainer threw them bites of chum. He turned towards me with a wink in his eye and offered me the bucket. Would you like to try? Of course I would, I said with a smile. But hold up a second, where was I going to put my peanuts? These peanuts were perfect, all golden and roasted, salty and sweet, so I sauntered over to the glass and tucked them between my feet. I reached in the bucket and threw out some chum. The seals went crazy. It was really quite fun. After it was all gone, I handed back the bucket with a thank you. But when I looked back down, my peanuts were gone too. My heart sank to my stomach, and my stomach sank to my knees. This was not a feeling one could shake with ease. I scanned every face, every child, every mother, thinking who could do something so despicable to another. Oh, my precious peanuts, you were gone too soon, I hardly knew ye. Now there is left far too much room in my stomach that can ne'er be filled but by thee. With desperation, I turned to a zoo employee. Excuse me, sir, I said politely, but if you could help me find my peanuts, that would be positively nightly. You see, I set them down only moments ago, and now they are gone. Where could they go? I'd be happy to help, said the man with a nod. I'll be right back. I'll get our best man on the job. He's a bit of an unusual fellow, though, so don't sneer, but I promise we will find your peanuts. Just wait here. So I slouched and I cursed the seals in my head for ever tearing my attention from my precious beloved. Soon the employee returned with a very strange sight. A giant crocodile with a leash clamped tight around its huge, muscular, scaly green body. It was wearing a vest with a badge pinned on the front that read the best of the best. A giant alligator? I exclaimed with fright. How in the world will this solve my plight? Well, sir, you complained of a kidnapping, and to find the perpetrator, we've brought you our best investigator.
Awesome. Thank you, Ciara. Judges, can you please raise your scores in 3, 2, 1. Up with your scores. Audience, tell them what you think. 4.4, 4, 4.5, 3.5, and 4. Thank you. I should take a moment to mention that I did Math 11 like 3 times, and English is my thing, so please forgive me for the reading of the numbers. King and Eve, please come to the stage. Audience, welcome them warmly.
I would recognize love when I first met her in an English class.
I will recognize love when he asked me for the first date.
Love played hide and seek. I was searching for her all around the school.
Love plays a musical. I was hiding all around the school.
Oh, she's there, looking through the door.
Yes, he's there looking for me.
But when love finally comes to me,
why he wears the suit every day?
because he's a little man.
Why he carrying a suitcase in the school?
Why is she carrying the chocolate milk around the school?
Love is the game, but love hates game.
Love is a musical, but love does not like a musical.
Love is the miracle.
Love makes me a perfect liar.
I start to lie in front of my parents. Hello, Mom.
Where are you?
I'm studying in the library with Emma.
Love grew like a tree, bigger and stronger.
Love makes me want to stay with him forever.
Love is the motivation that wakes me up every morning.
Love changes as the time passes.
Love becomes unfamiliar.
Love leads me to the deep of his heart.
Good morning, babe. I miss you so much.
Oh, you remember to say good morning? I thought I'm not going to see you anymore.
I'm sorry, I just missed the call last night.
I don't want to hear the excuse.
Why are you always yelling?
Shut up! I was just so worried about you last night, I couldn't even sleep.
You should stop. Stop being like that.
Love cries.
Love can be forgot, but one thing cannot be is I love you.
Over and over again, when I just wake up.
I love you.
When I feel lonely.
I love you.
When I'm sick of it and don't even want to believe it.
I love you.
I love you, but love is not a princess story.
Love is not what you always expect.
Love could be tough.
Love could be far.
But no matter who you are and where you come from, if you believe so, love is just right beside you.
Appreciate the person who loves you and cares about you. Love the person who you love, and all you need is a hug.
I have goosebumps. I hope you all have goosebumps too. Judges, do you have goosebumps? Let's see your scores. 3, 2, 1, up with the scores. We have a 5, a 4.5, a 5, a 5, and a 5. The easiest numbers for me to read. Oh, I'm not done yet. Faith, can you come to the stage? Everybody welcome Faith.
Before I start, I just want to shout out all the black people in the school. Which is like probably 2 of you, but that's okay. No, wait, where are you really from? If you're a person that's visibly non-white, you've probably heard that question way too many times. Yes, I was born here, and my parents are from Ghana. Now let's move on. I really do not want to hear about your church mission trip to Kenya in 2006. Growing up black, there's a lot of things you have to deal with. Stupid questions, racist comments, and just the pure ignorance of people. So here's a message from me and the maybe 4 other black people at the school on things we find annoying as people of color. Here's a question that I want to know the answer to. Why do you assume that I'm African American, or at least the stereotype of one? I'm sorry, I don't speak in Ebonics and guzzle down grape juice and munch on fried chicken. Hell, I don't even know how to braid hair. And I don't even listen to rap music that much. And why do you feel the need to come up to me and ask me about my weave? Do you even know what a weave is? Most likely not. And the only people saying things like, yo, what's up, my N-word, or girl, hold my weave, are the edgy whitewash kids that stand in the hallways and blast the rap music and try to act black. And why do you feel like the word black is an insult or some sort of cuss word? I've had people come up to me and say, oh yeah, I have a friend that's like, like the same skin tone as you. I think the word you're looking for is black. Describing someone as their race has never been an insult unless you're using the wrong words. I remember one time I was at a park with my friend, and there was a baby that was staring at me pretty intently. My friend turns to me and she says, maybe it's because she's never seen a black person before. Like, why are you whispering? There isn't a Shaniqua or Daquan coming to attack you. Say the word black. Chill. My next question is, why are you so curious about my hair? Is it this like mysterious curly magic thing that holds all these amazing secrets? Why do you want to touch my hair so badly? I get it. It's curly, it's coarse, get over it. I don't go up to you and say like, oh my God, wow, your hair is so thin and straight. Or your hair is so light and airy. How do you get it like that? I don't care if we've been friends for 15 years or 15 days. Do not touch my hair and please leave me alone. It's not a toy for you to play with. The last point I want to make that really grinds my gears is why do you want to say the N-word so badly? Like, what will saying that word really do for you? Like, do you think we're going to give you a free pass to be racist so you can be cool in front of your friends? I don't think so. I don't care how many black friends you have and why you don't understand why it's so bad or it's just in the song. Maybe you don't understand, you should go back and retake your socials class or read a history book. In all, there are a lot of things you can do and not do to make your black friend's life 10 times easier. But just please refrain from asking dumb questions, and maybe you won't get slapped in the face. Thank you.
Thank you, Faye. All right, judges, give you a moment. 3, 2, 1, up with your scores. All right. 4.5, 4, 4.5, 3.5, and 4. Thank you, judges. And please welcome Gabby and Heather.
Dear old friend,
I remember the first time we met.
it was the best day of my life.
I was digging in the sandbox, knee-deep, letting the grain slip between my fingers.
A plastic shovel was clutched tightly in your hand.
When you walked up to me with a skip in your step and a smile from ear to ear.
Can I play with you, I asked?
I looked up to you and said yes,
And that was the beginning.
We became inseparable.
Friends on and off the playground.
My classmate,
My teammate.
and my sister from another mister.
My friendship with you was not just one thing, but it was a million things.
Every laugh, every cry, every free therapy session
I thought were so insanely cliche.
But they were the memories I cherished every day.
We knew each other so well.
We could finish each other's
sentences. You were my person. We were 100% certain.
even though we were children.
So we crossed our hearts
Pinky promise.
that we'd be best friends forever. But then,
We turned 14.
and entered high school.
A living hell where
Tricycles became cars.
candy became weed.
Juice became vodka.
1 + 1 became
X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a.
We grew up so fast.
And we turned into the people we said we would never be.
The thing is, high school changes a person.
We got busy,
Lost touch,
got new hobbies,
got new jobs,
tried new things.
and met new people. We tried to adore the good old days.
But why would we?
When our future seemed so much better than our yesterdays.
I met this boy, and I fell hard for him.
And I got the chance to be friends with the cool kids.
Oh wow, he was such a catch.
It only took me 5 minutes to attach.
He became my everything.
I spent all my time with them.
He was my knight in shining armor.
I ran to them in need of every answer.
Every rose he gave me.
Every party I went to.
We drifted further
And further.
and further apart.
I let you slip through my fingers.
I believed him when he told me he loved me.
I was relieved that popularity was wrapped around me.
He took over my life. We were over.
History.
A thing of the past.
It all went downhill so fast.
It just spiraled.
And our connection quickly crumbled.
I'm sorry I avoided you in class.
I'm sorry I listened to the gossip.
I'm sorry I chose him over you.
I'm sorry I stopped caring.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
It's not you. It's me. I forgot what you meant to me.
Can I ever make it up to you?
Can we ever fix this?
Can we piece together the shards of this old friendship?
I'm willing to try.
I'm willing to go the distance.
To bring back our existence.
So here I am to ask you.
Can we start over?
I remember the first time we met.
It was the best day of my life.
Sincerely, your old friend.
Thank you, Gabby and Heather. Judges, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, up with your scores. We have a 5, a 4, a 5, a 4.5, and a 5. Thank you, judges, and please welcome Sophia to the stage.
Just gonna move this guy over. Sorry. It gets better. These words became a sort of a prayer adopted by a certain anxiety-ridden middle schooler just trying to survive themselves. I stopped wearing blue eyeshadow, so I guess there is a grain of truth to it. It gets better. These 3 words form a sort of delusional hope, a mantra to clutch onto when the floor is crumbling from beneath your feet, a green pasture you scramble towards, squinting so hard you believe you can see it. It's an empty horizon that somehow glows with the promise of a safe shore from the storm. If I just last a little longer, if I just push a little harder, if I just keep the voices out of my head for another day, if I hold on until my fingers bleed, then it will get better. It has to get better. It must get better. But what if it doesn't? Call me a pessimist, but maybe I'm realistic in thinking that all that time spent waiting for my life to start was time wasted. That maybe waiting for paradise for permission for my life to start is a fool's endeavor because heaven doesn't exist on earth, so why was I looking for it? Life will never be a straightforward path leading to a certain future of unending smiles. I'm never going to climb into a pumpkin carriage and gallop off to a certain happily ever after. I'm still learning that life is hard work and it doesn't get easy. The world is just as ugly as it is beautiful. You can't pick your favorite parts and dismiss the rest. You can't hide behind a delusion, praying to be saved from your demons by an ideal vision, sweeping them under the carpet like big ugly dust bunnies. No matter the grief or consequence, it seems to be the standard consolation that it won't matter in a few years. It won't matter when you're older. It won't matter when you're an adult, and it won't matter when you're dead, but it matters now. Because I don't live tomorrow. I don't live in a few years. I don't live as an adult. I live today. I live right now. And for all I know, that's all I have. Life in itself is so uncertain, a battlefield in its own right, so don't you dare promise me tomorrow, because it might not even come. As bleak as it sometimes seems, we take the uncertainty, the dark and the light of life, and we live that to its fullest. Future is only what we make it. We make it in moments. Someday we may look back on these moments like snapshots of our lives, postcards from a different era, and I wonder if they'll fill us with wonder. Life will be ugly, confusing, tearful, joyful, but it will never be perfect. I don't want to miss 1 second of it as I take in each moment. And maybe it won't ever get better. Maybe it already has.
Thank you, Sophia. Also, thank you for being as tall as me. Judges, please put up your scores. 3, 2, 1. We have a 5, a 4, a 4.5, a 4.5, and another 4.5. All right. Keep your hands, well, actually get your hands going. And welcome Sadie to the stage.
F you, feminazi, not so feminine, maybe a lesbian, finding fossiled issues from your fascist regime. Equality? You're just a damn commie. So, which is it? Am I left or right? I must be left because you're always right. You served me my scotch on ice. An ice cube tray of splinters and a dash of drugs meant for darlings with deep-cut t-shirts. You served me a stare with ice. Scotch? Don't deviate from your disposition stereotype. Deviate rather. I'll dive in. I will reside in the warmest of pinks if I so choose. Buddy, the point is that's empowering too. Don't need to dress like a man, express like a man, to be treated like a man. Don't need to vote for your women, promote abusive women, to support your women. Equality. For every him, her, they, and we, black, Latino, Japanese, don't say it, please. I am here to tell you that I am a feminist. Oh, sorry, forgot I wasn't supposed to swear in this. I see fingers moving to mouth like handguns before I can even mutter the words liberation. Liberation, I stutter like the woman who stuttered no at the sight of the handgun that shot the bullet to the shock of her no, take another shot, babe. We'll take it real slow. Crime scene evidence, no conviction. What other evidence is needed of women's restrictions other than a word so weeded? The F word. Like dandelions and other dangerous animals, like moles from moles hills, I supposedly make mountains of independence. But slip slosh into your Daisy Bud Light world, but look at how far you've come. Like a dog chasing its tail around a broken record player, let me put the needle on your logic. We did not stop fighting racism after the abolishment of slavery, and we will not stop fighting sexism after women were no longer property, but the broken record tunes me out. I guess I just haven't been laid in a while.
Thank you, Sadie. Judges. Give me your scores in 3, 2, 1. Up with the scores. 4.5. Tell them what you think. 4.5, 5, 4.5, and 4.5. Applaud the poet, not the score. And please welcome Asia to the stage.
Somewhere right now, someone just gave up because they couldn't take it or make it or fake it anymore. Somewhere right now, someone has just awoken from a dream. But they've awoken to a nightmare because that dream that they loved so much has vanished into thin air and has left them with nothing but regret and despair. Somewhere right now, there's a race to be won. And everyone is staring at someone who was left behind because they tripped when they heard the gun, so they choose not to run. Somewhere right now, someone just fell down, and they didn't get back up because they thought it was too tough. They thought it was too tough to rise up, too tough to get up, to stand up. Wake up, because I am tired of people sleeping and dreaming, but never achieving their hopes, their dreams, their goals. A goal. What is a goal? It's a star in the sky that you can reach if you really try. If you try, you have to try, because somewhere right now, someone just fell down. But unlike you, they got back up because they knew that it's not about who you are when you fall down. It's about who you are when you get back up. Because somewhere right now, someone has a dream, and they're willing to do anything for that dream. They're willing at any point to sacrifice what they are for what they will become, because they want it more than anything. They want it more than they want to party, more than they want to eat or sleep. They want it more than they want to breathe. And they know that on their journey to their dreams, there will be hard times. But let me tell you, hard times do not come to stay. They come to pass. And if you pass on the chance to make your dreams become a reality, you'll be working your entire life to make someone else's dreams become a reality, because somewhere right now, someone thinks they are working for themselves. So they get up every single day, and they go and work for someone else. Somewhere right now, there's someone saying, I can't. And there's someone saying, I can. The thing is, they're both usually right. Thank you.
Thank you, Asia. Judges, please show your scores. Audience, remember that you're still telling us what you think. You still have some energy. You're enjoying all this poetry. 3, 2, 1. All right. 4.5, 4, 4, 4.5, and 5. Applaud the poet, not the score. And invite Alexa and Jada to the stage.
Throwing it back to 2016, maybe add a little 2017. Oh, what a year it has been. The things that had happened will never be unseen. You've heard of everything trending online, from the dab to Damn Daniel.
Oh, girl, he was so fine.
We've seen the cringiest of them all.
So bad, people would reenact them in the halls.
Videos gone viral for months on end.
But how about that?
Is there ever an end?
But as Dr. Phil said to the girl with the red head,
get up and leave. He was her biggest pet peeve.
You know where to find her.
Cash her outside.
But over time, things come and go. But one thing that won't is flipping your water bottle on a desk, hoping for the best.
Or freezing like a mannequin to that song, Black Beatles. You know it was crackin'.
You may have danced to a song or two, but doing these moves will make you want to groove.
But let's please remove Hit the Quan. It makes me want to yawn.
These are getting old, but I must say.
Don't forget the nay-nay. I gotta say, they were pretty lit, but really, what was the benefit? Same I'd say, but that wouldn't make sense. All this slang is pretty intense. Dope, swag, lit, fam,
bruh, what are those? I say them with my woes. So you may be wondering, what's coming next? Maybe another app. On this one, you can text. It was popping maybe for a month or so. Have you heard of a house party? Ah, rough go. It's like FaceTime, but with 8 of your friends.
Guess we gotta add that to the list of trends. But not too long ago, you would see people yelling,
Pokemon Go!
With each tap on your screen popped up a notification. A new creature enters this cringe generation. But don't forget about that lovely text you'll get, saying that your data use has left you in debt. Now, I hope you have fate, because welcome to your tape. Treat people right, or you'll never escape. Can you name 13 reasons why you like this speech?
Don't bother. Just say preach. Yes, guys, I know what you're thinking.
This was pretty cringe, but hey, that's what we were going for.
Now, what will be your 2017 binge?
Thank you, Alexa and Jada. Judges, tell us what you think. 3, 2, 1, up with the scores. 4.5, 3.5, 4, 4, and 4.5. Thank you, judges. Applaud the poets, not the score. And Karen, please come to the stage.
Why can't you think of anyone but yourself? Am I only here to boost your self-esteem? She's just making herself feel better. I am a narcissist. You can stop me right there and tell me that's all you needed to hear, because whenever you hear someone talk about that disorder, you don't recall it ever being one. I mean, it's just another word to call someone shallow, right? Like wet Band-Aids that float across the skin-deep kiddie pool. So don't bother asking me to go swimming on the first date if you already know who I am under all of this. We narcissists don't comprehend empathy. We thrive on cups of ice-cold envy, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop sipping tea and roasting beef. No, because snarls and hisses sounds like serenades and kisses, but I'm too busy looking at my reflection to be bothered. I dismiss it. My thick nectar drowns in sweet self-absorbency. Bounty paper towels got nothing on me, and when everyone else is drowning, the green-eyed monster is keeping me afloat. He's not the monster that lives under the bed, not the one grabbing me by the feet and dragging me down. No, he's the one that sleeps beside me at night, whispers sweet jealousies like a lullaby. There's no one better than who you think you are. I know it's hard to believe that people who preach about self-love pray to self-hate, because I can't stop wanting all this affection, but I still got time to pick out all my imperfections, like a 5-year-old in their greens, picking at their plate, hoping they disappear along with their insecurities. I look at myself every chance I get. Selfie mode is my new best friend, and even though cameras have filters, it tells me more than what I hear from my friends. Just tell me what I want to hear. Just tell me I'm ugly. Everyone told me to set goals for myself, but here I am with endless ideals of my idols, brought upon by my idols, still having trouble with my sense of direction. The feeling of succession is an addiction, but I don't need nicotine to get high on this sensation, because no one's been there to give me the push, not even a shove or a nudge, because all I need is love for myself, right? Everyone's been there for me, but no one's been there for the narcissist in me, and if I only need love for myself, then why am I still trying to find it?
Thank you, Karen. Got a little feedback. Okay. Judges, 3, 2, 1, up with your scores. A 4, a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4, and a 4. Tell them how you feel. Applaud the poet, not the score. And let's invite Vanessa to the stage.
A love letter to my bed, to our late night talks at 4 a.m, when even the stars have gone to sleep, but the darkness keeps us awake. We lie silent and still, storytellers without saying a single word. You just get me. They say love is a drug. Maybe that explains why I've been so addicted to you, or why I can't get up in the mornings, or why we could spend a whole night together and I will still wake up longing for your embrace. I wrap myself up in you and try to disappear. Why is it so difficult to leave something when you know it will still be there for you when you get back? I'm learning more about you each night. My fingers glide across your body, over every crack, every crease. I want to know you better than I thought I knew myself. How you can keep me warm even on the coldest of nights, or how you manage to block out the world, leaving me alone with my thoughts and you, your scent. It reminds me of him. How I used to get lost in him the same way I get lost in you, but that's okay because you aren't him and you won't leave. I can't seem to leave you. No matter how hard I try, night after night and morning after morning, I just keep coming back to you. I don't remember when I became so dependent on you. Maybe it happened in a dream, or maybe this has been real life the whole time. You make me forget which is which, and now I don't remember anything except you are my everything, so I will keep coming back to you. You with your false security, you with your mind games. Have I been falling in love or becoming a prisoner? Because lately, they seem like the same thing. You used to be my rock to hold me down, but now my feet are barely on the ground. How could I have been so naive to not see what you were doing to me? To not see that you have been killing me and I have been letting you. I am sleeping away my sunshine because you only tell me that you love me in the dark. Why did I think that our love would be different? Why did I think that your love could save me? Your love holds me down like handcuffs locked too tightly, my wrists blistered and bleeding. I am too tired to escape. I am too tired to run. I am too tired, so I stay. And I call it happiness. Love is the most beautiful pain that one can feel. So I will fall deeper and deeper in love with you, no matter how much it hurts me.
Thank you, Vanessa. Judges, we're going to get your scores. We've got one more poet to go. Please don't run away. And 3, 2, 1. 4.5, 4, 5, 4, and 4.5. And please welcome Jay to the stage.
I want to take this off. Okay, there we go. Someone I used to know once told me that people who are in abusive friendships generally don't realize that it's abuse until it's over. Maybe in fear of losing the people they think they need, maybe just denial. My dear brain, we've been friends for a while now, for as long as I can remember, really. You were always there for me, even if you didn't always make me feel the best. I remember when we were first starting to get to know each other. I was so young, and you told me to call 911. It'd be so funny. My mom would love it. But maybe that wasn't the best idea. And every time you told me those stupid things, I'd always listen to you, because what 5-year-old thinks that their brain would lie to them? Remember when I was 12 and you told me that I was ugly and worthless? Man, that was a hilarious joke. It got kind of terrifying when you told me that I didn't deserve to be alive, but all in all, I knew that's all it was, a stupid joke. Come to think of it, you started scaring me a lot more often when we were in big crowds, when we were talking in front of people, when we were by ourselves. I thought we had figured everything out when you started putting the word trans in my mouth, but considering the fact that you still scare me every time I have to talk to someone, and you still shut me down when someone upsets you, and you still tell me that sometimes it's a good idea to cut myself, maybe that makes no sense that I thought we had everything figured out. So now what I guess I have now realized, my dear brain, is that I must be in one of those toxic, abusive friendships. Because if I am being honest, and believe me, I am, the past 5 years since you've started treating me bad have been the worst years of my life. The past 5 years have been you telling me that I am worth nothing. You telling me that I can't do anything right. You telling me that I will never achieve what I want to do. And you telling me that I will never be who I want to be. The past 5 years of my life have been you telling me that I am ugly and stupid and annoying and useless and overbearing and terrible and disgusting and awful and emotional and worthless and pathetic, and that I deserve to kill myself. Because no one would care. So in short, the past 5 years of our friendship have been absolute hell. At this point, I see two options. I could end my friendship with you, but I know if you go away, so do I. Or you could stop. You could change. You could stop making me scared and sad and mad, and you could function the way that a brain is supposed to. But I promise you, if you don't do these things, if you don't change, I'm sorry to say that I don't see much of a future for us. Someone I used to know once told me that people who are in abusive friendships don't realize that it's abuse until it's over. Maybe in fear of losing the people they think they need, maybe just denial. My dear brain, we've been friends for a while now, as long as I can remember, really. For the past 5 years, I've wanted to end our friendship, but now I think I'm starting to see how I can make it better instead.
Thank you, Jay. Judges, 3, 2, 1. Up with your scores. A 4.5, a 4.5, a 4.5, a 4, and a 4.5. Thank you for being here for this round of the festival. Give the poet a big hand, yeah. If you're sitting on a chair and you're leaving now, I think you're supposed to put the chair, is that right? Yeah? Oh no, I'm being waved off on that. Don't move the chairs. Just file out peacefully and make room for the next block. Thank you all for being here. You're an awesome audience.